Hey, hello, and hi, it's Dren again here, and yeah, it's been a while. I have been doing things. My last video was back before the holidays, then I was out of town for most of January, catching up in February, and about to leave town again today, so I'm going to try and squeeze in this video for you. There's also this tension between creating music and creating videos. I will always create music first before videos, so I've been working on mixing a lot of new music, doing recordings of some new music, and that's been keeping me pretty busy. So for all the people who unsubscribed while I was not making videos for the last month and a half or so, maybe 2 months, yeah, sometimes creativity gets in the way of actually making these things. I think we all have that if you are making any kind of YouTube video and are also a creative person. Hard to balance everything. Okay, so let's get to it. So a couple things. One, I had mentioned the Stranger Things VR game that I worked on, the MR section, the chapter called Murray's Worries, and then there's an arcade chapter. That is out now on Oculus Quest Store. You can check it out. I'll put some links down here to some videos that are reviewing only the MR section, which is kind of neat, so you can kind of see how those portals work, etc., that I talked about in an older video. So that's out. The reason I'm going to talk about what I'm talking about today, also last week, this recording came out of The Residents from their secret show in San Francisco from last year. Something that I played on. I arranged a couple songs in a medley for it. We had a band put together from the students and San Francisco Conservatory music. I had Josh Freese from Foo Fighters, 9 Inch Nails, Devo, etc. playing in my band for that. We had other guests like Les Claypool. He sang Hello Skinny with The Residents. We had David J. and Ego Plum do Santa Dog, the SF Girls Choir, Pamela Z. We had all these great people as part of that show. In addition to The Residents, they recorded the show, they recorded video of the show, and it all just got released last week. So I'll show a little clip of my part of it, and then kind of talk about how I prepared that arrangement of the song. So maybe first, here's just a quick clip of the first piece, Whatever Happened to Vileness Fats. So here's that. Okay, so that was the Residents version back from, I think they recorded that in the early 70s. And here's just a quick little version of our version, so you can see our band and get a sense of what our ensemble is like. So here's that. So that was pretty fun. That was just the first part of the medley from Whatever Happened to Vileness Fats. We also later go into a piece called Godsong, and I'll show a little clip of that too. Anyhow, Whatever Happened to Vileness Fats is a instrumental. It's an instrumental. And I can show you how I set up my Logic session for that and kind of walk you through it a little bit. So let me do that. Okay, so here's the session. I put the session based on the types of players I knew I was getting for the session. So I didn't know any of these players. I figured there'd be good musicians. So overall, pretty simple song, and the chart is pretty simple. So I wanted to kind of keep it that way because we literally had 3 rehearsals, I think, before we went on stage and played it. And that includes a dress rehearsal. So not a whole lot of rehearsing time. When you have a project that's got so many people involved, it's really rough to try and get in some rehearsals. So I had to make it what I thought was going to be simple and easy to read for them. That leads me to another thing, orchestration. While you can see all the MIDI in my session here, I'll go to some of the more interesting things. Low strings, I have some spiccato, some low strings, I see some violins, things of that nature. All this stuff was later put together by my friend Daria Novo, and she usually does a lot of the orchestra work for me because I feel that this is maybe not my strength. So I can do it. I've done it before. I've done it for my own sessions. Haven't done it for anyone else's sessions. I think I'd be too scared to. But I've done it for my own sessions. When there are a lot of players involved, that leaves a lot of room for mistakes for me. So that's why I give it to someone else who knows how to proofread those things. And I'm not so good at it because it's my music or my arrangement. And sometimes I just look past things. So I had Daria do it. So what you're seeing here is these are the MIDI tracks, and then I bounced each one in place so I could send this off to her in case she didn't have any of the sample libraries. So I'll just play a little bit of this, and you can hear the beginning of it, and you can see the instrumentation we have. I thought I was going to have 2 marimba players, so this kind of got doubled up to 1 marimba player, who was great. Shout out to Eddie. He was fantastic. So far we just have marimba, piano, woodblock. Then we have some drums coming in. Oh, there's the wah-wah trumpets. This here is my guitar part because I played the EBow part. You can see on the video the first repetition of this gets lost because the EBow wouldn't trigger for some reason. It was frightening, kind of a heart attack. Finally triggered for the second repetition. All right, so there's the trumpets. We got some clarinet in there. We've got cello and contrabass, violins, more violins coming on. Viola just came in. So it's all kind of building up. The original piece has this feeling that it's building up to something. So that's what I was kind of pushing for in here. And that's what it kind of does. I kind of build it up more here than it is in the original. Bring it down after this little snare part. It comes down. Back just to the ostinato part. I was kind of worried that we weren't going to get a marimba player with good time, but we had a marimba player with great time. He was fantastic. So then it kind of builds up again. I'll skip around a little bit. So yeah, we get some more drums here. You might have a question about the drum parts. I did not write out the drum parts. I figured Josh is going to hear I made a recording of this for him. I bounced this out for him. And he doesn't need to hear my drum ideas. I don't have great drum ideas. He's the one with the great drum ideas. So I just basically recorded this stuff and sent it to him. The only thing that he had were these woodblock triplet things. Apart from that, he just had the rest of the chart and knew where things were. I kind of put these kicks and toms, I think, in there just so he knew where to come in. And then the freeform drum stuff he just came up with on his own. So I wasn't giving him any drum parts. He didn't need it. So that's a little bit about the Vileness Fats. Those are the instruments that I wrote for. And then there is a pause in the song that brings us to Godsong. So let's get up to that part, which I think is, where is this? Yeah, this is another build up. Oh, we got into it. Okay, so here's the build up. This is kind of the end of that one. We had I didn't put it in the music, but at the rehearsals I asked the violins to all the high strings, violins, violas, to play everything kind of portamento and kind of slide into these notes, because I thought that worked. The funny thing about this piece is that the original Resonance piece was all synths, kind of emulating an orchestra or orchestral music. So now I'm doing just the opposite. I'm trying to emulate the synthesizers that are emulating an orchestra. So that's where some things like that come into play, where you're portamentoing the strings to try and give them that kind of synth slide motion. So let's see. That was the end of that. Okay. So here's the video, just a little clip of Godsong. So we'll show you that from our performance right here.
Well, for quite a while, there was a wonderful creature with a long and great face, 4-5 legs and again, 5 many legs, and large genitals. His thoughts were pure and full of wonder. The wonder part was God's favorite, at least at first, because that's the part that gave him his identity.
So that was Godsong. That was me singing about God and man. And I was not reading music in that. I was reading the lyrics, because there's a lot of lyrics of that song, and there was no way I was going to remember. I still forgot some of them. If you watch the whole video, you'll see I forgot a couple lines. I haven't done this in a while. Performing live, singing vocals that I had to remember that weren't even my own. So here's Godsong. Make sure you have the vocals in there. No, let's get the vocal in there. Scratch vocal. So here's my scratch vocal. Originally, I was trying to find another singer to do this. I wasn't planning to do it myself. I was just going to do the arrangement. But then things worked out that the people I contacted couldn't do it. So then I just did it. So here it is.
God never really did like that anyway. At least not after they
so we're taking some liberties with some of this stuff on the record. Really pushing that ba-da thing, and that gets a little bit louder later on. If I had my druthers at the performance, I would have been singing a mic, like an old-timey mic, through an amplifier to get this kind of sound. There was too much activity on stage. It was too hard with so many people on stage to figure that sort of thing out. So then it kind of gets going, you know, with the low strings here. Kind of change up the rhythm a little bit. Bum, ba-dum, ba, 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 ba. Just trying to give it a little bit of a change as the song went on. Here's the drum kit. I just used Logic Drummer to come up with a part for Josh, so he got a sense of what we were doing. I think he did ended up doing some kind of tom type of thing. So that's the basics of that one. You can hear how it comes back in at the very end. That's not the end. Here's the end. So those are things that I borrowed from Vileness Fats, just kind of bringing some things back in, like the marimba again, and the violins doing something that they did at the beginning of the song. So kind of tying the whole thing together with some Vileness Fats at the end. So there you have it. There is how I kind of set up that arrangement for Godsong and Whatever Happened to Vileness Fats for the Residence Secret Show from January 2023, which just came out on Cherry Red Records. Both LP, CD, and DVD are out with Cherry Red. So check it out. There's also, there's another cool 10-inch that just came out that I'm on with. We're also doing a resident song called Mahogany Wood. And it's me with, believe it or not, Nick Rhodes from Duran Duran. I never thought I'd be on a record with Nick Rhodes, but there we are. Rob Crow, who I've known for many years, he contributed music to the first Residents tribute record that I did back in '96 with his group Thingy. And then we also have a couple folks from Ministry, Men's Recovery Project, and then Aaron Tanner, who runs Melodic Virtue, who created a couple of these really wonderful coffee table books about the Residents, and then has 2 10-inches that kind of celebrate the release of those books. So this is the 10-inch that just came out. There's only 500 copies. I'll put a link down there. I don't get any money from it or anything, but it's a really cool thing. Okay, thanks for watching, and I'm going on vacation, and I will do more videos when I get back. I got something planned for vocal sessions and how to prep for a vocal recording session. All right, thanks for watching.